Welcome back to another episode of Sports Unlimited. I here with my boy Devin. Oh man, it was an interesting little bit of the season so far.
It was a great weekend.
This is a weekend.
It was a
It
good
was a
weekend.
weekend.
It was a good weekend.
And I think as a Cowboys fan, I'm hurt, but also I'm happy. And at the same time, as an Aggie fan, hey, bye week, we won.
I talked about the Cowboys earlier, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But we have a lot to talk about, a lot of NFL, a lot of NCAA, and of course we're gonna throw in some of the World Series in there. But yeah, let us get started.
The first question we got today is: Are the Cowboys in serious trouble after the beating they took on Sunday?
You know, that's a very good question. And I'm gonna say this. The answer is not as simple as yes or no, but yes and no.
Makes
um,
sense. Makes sense.
because this is the same team that won us 10 games last year. And we made it to the playoffs. And this is the same thing they did last year, and we still made the playoffs.
Yeah, but 47-9 at home.
Okay, I rather lose to the Lions 47-9 than the Eagles barely winning to the
Nah,
freaking
not
Browns.
not not at AT&T though.
I mean, they've lost four of the last home games anyways already. Going back to last year.
It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
But you know what? This is the way I see it. I'm not one of these delusional fans that says every year it's our year. It's no. I take it for what it is. I will always be a fan. I will always support my team, but I'm not a delusional individual either. Okay.
I mean,
I took. I
there's a
took.
bunch of those out there though.
Yeah, I know, and that's their problem. But for everybody that understands the game, everyone that loves the game, they sit here and you say, "What did they do in the off season? Nothing."
But that's every season though.
No, that's not true. They've done some very good things in the offseason, like getting stuff on Gilmore and things like that.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select a lineman once again.
Okay, and we needed a lineman anyways. He's been one of the best linemen in the game. Rookies.
But
Look,
the linemen don't score your touchdowns.
no, but we've always been once before the one of the strengths of the Cowboys have always been the offensive line.
Yeah.
And then when you look back at everything else, I love the picks the Cowboys do. We drafted very well. The problem here is just because we draft well doesn't mean we don't have everything else. We don't have depth anywhere else. I mean, look what happened.
That's the mistake. I
That's a
think that's
mistake.
the mistake.
Yes, we don't go out. We draft very well, which is great. But drafting, you only have, I'm gonna say, 8 picks maybe. At most, you would have 7 picks. At the minimum, you would have at least 1 pick.
I'll give you three names. Tell me who's to blame so far for this season. Dak, Mike, or Jerry.
All three. Let me
I was hoping you said all three because I feel like it's all three of them.
yeah. Dak is playing from behind half the time. And they know that if they make Dak Prescott throw for more than 40 times, they are not going to win. Mike McCarthy is not getting the right players in and fighting with Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones is not picking up the right. I mean, we could have kept Stephon Gilmore on a small deal. We could have gone out and got Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, somebody.
Somebody. I agree.
No,
I
and
agree.
then if you had paid Dak Prescott from the beginning, you would have been able to pay everybody else under what they deserve, and it would have left us more money for the future. But no,
Gotta give it all
Jerry,
to that.
Jerry Jones wants to be Jerry Jones.
That's what happens when you're dating a family, right?
I mean, the Arkansas Bowl. But yeah, that's my answer. Yes and no.
Gotcha.
Yes and
Gotcha.
no. All right. And then all honesty, to me, I'm glad they got blown out. God willing, Jerry Jones comes to his senses and fires Mike McCarthy in the middle of the season. Then I don't care what happens the rest of the season.
So they've got a week to get it together. They're off this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go on to the next one. All right. You put me on the spot earlier, so now it's my turn to get you on the spot.
Bring it.
So I'm gonna give you five statements. You're gonna tell me if they're an overreaction or not an overreaction and why. Okay? The first one. The NFC South will put two teams in the playoffs.
Uh, not
So
overreaction. I feel like they will.
who?
They're dominating it right now.
But which two teams will they get?
Any two of them. Honestly, all four of them.
The Panthers. Man, boy,
Look, it's early in the season. You can't count nobody out. As bad as they're doing, it's just like the Cowboys. They're doing bad right now, but you can't count them out. You never know. Like we said before, the NFL's crazy.
yeah, but
NFL's
that
crazy.
there is something that you know it's always true, and that's the Panthers will not make the playoffs.
Look, look. We can look up. 4 games down the road they could be leading the division. I'm just saying. Right now they're doing good, and we'll just have to see what happens.
All
I don't
right.
think that's an overreaction.
Okay. Not an overreaction. Okay, fair enough. All right, number two. Mike McCarthy is one game away from filing Robert Sala in the unemployment line.
Oh, that's not an overreaction at all. The man's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And at some point, the Cowboys got to take accountability and be like, this is our problem. Let's get somebody new. Coaches get fired mid-season. It is what it is.
All right, partly with that one, is it an overreaction or not that Bill Belichick might be our next head coach?
Not an overreaction. I feel like the man can still coach. I feel like he still got it. I feel like the Cowboys should have went after him, but you know how things roll with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
But no, that's not an overreaction at all. I feel like they should reach out to him
yeah,
at least just see
yeah.
what he says about it.
I think he's having a little too much fun in retirement, but you never know.
Yeah,
You never
yeah.
know.
If the money's right,
Yeah.
anybody will come.
All right. The Cleveland Browns will keep drafting in the top five till Deshaun Watson's contract is done, which is in 2027.
I agree. That's not an overreaction. I feel like they're doing it on purpose.
Mm.
Like I just don't see him like even 2, 3 years down the road. I just don't see anybody talking about, oh, the Browns are this, the Browns are that. It's like the Browns are shitty. That's point blank. Period.
Hmm.
Like that man's getting too much money to be worried about. Oh, if I win or lose, this and that. It's like pay me. I don't care. So I feel like they will keep drafting in the top fives. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, overreaction or not, this is the best rookie class we've ever seen. I'm sorry, the best quarterback rookie class we've ever seen.
It's tough. It's tough. I don't think that's overreaction.
Damn, I thought it was.
I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't think it's overreaction. I feel like they're doing just enough um, to be talked about. Like all of them are getting talked about, and most of the talking about them is in a good way. You know what I mean? So I don't. I don't feel like that's overreaction. I do feel like it's one of the better QB classes to come up because I mean the ones that are playing are actually contributing in some way.
Mm,
You know what I mean? More than any other QB class has come through. So I feel like that's not a reaction at all.
fair enough. And then the last one, Nick Sirianni will be fired if he has another controversy like the one he had on Sunday. And if in case for those that don't know, on Sunday, after beating the Browns, he went and yelled at the fans, creating a controversy that didn't need to be created.
I give that man 2 weeks, maybe. I feel like they're already looking. They're just keeping it under wraps. But I feel like they're already looking. You just can't have that type of character representing your team.
Yeah,
I just don't feel like it's good. But no, that's not a reaction. I feel like his time is limited for sure.
I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Next one.
This team started out the season a tad rough. But have the Ravens found their spark?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that defense is their biggest issue currently right now. but they have the talent. They just need to figure out what works.
Absolutely.
Because really, if you look at the Commanders game, it was actually a lot further apart than it should have been.
Yeah.
But and this is not to take away anything against the Commanders because I think they did great,
Hmm.
to really limit Derrick Henry and really limit Lamar Jackson. But uh the Ravens defense, if they can figure out that secondary and just how to stop the run, especially with this mobile quarterbacks now,
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be crazy. I think the offense, now that they have a lot of Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, no, I think my biggest worry for them is because more than likely they're gonna face the Bills in the playoffs and the Chiefs.
Hmm.
More likely than not,
Yeah.
that's who they're gonna
That's
face.
just how it goes.
Yeah, my worry for them is that they don't have enough weapons. And I think he needs to start getting Mark Andrews more involved
Hmm.
so that he can open up for the every other wide receiver that they have,
Yeah.
like Say Brown and all of them.
Yeah. I feel like, yes, they have found their spark, of course. Derrick Henry is looking a little looser than he has been in previous years,
Yeah.
which is a good thing. The
Hmm.
dude's always been good. To me, he's always
No,
been
yeah, no,
good.
he's been great. Yeah.
Very hard running back. And I just feel like it just took a couple games for him and Lamar to like actually like get into it, playing real time ball.
Hmm.
Because of course, you can go through it at practice, you can go through a preseason, but when the games actually matter, it's like I know he can do this, I know I can do this. Let's see how we can do it together.
Yeah.
So I feel like they have found that spark. But like you said, the defense, they can get better at that. And also, like you said, also bring in Mark Andrews a little bit more, which I feel like that's being kept, under wraps for a little bit. That way, most defenses are going to focus on how can we stop Derrick Henry, how can we stop Lamar Jackson for running. Then it's going to open up Mark Andrews to have, his breakout time.
Hmm.
So I feel like they're doing what they need to for now. And then, like, when the time is right, is when we're really going to see the Ravens come out.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough team. Tough team.
Yeah, a tough team. All righty. All righty. So we were just talking about Nick Sirianni. No, you did say it was not an overreaction. His time was limited. But should they fire him now after that controversy of yelling to the fans? I mean, he's basically gone crazy at this point, with the ball head and everything. What do you say?
uh, I feel like suspension first, but tough suspension, as in like this is your last chance. One more mistake, I think it's bye bye. Also, I feel like I'll be on the radar for looking for my next coach, just in case it do happen sooner than later. They can already bring somebody in. That way, you won't have that time period to where you don't have a head coach, and things can still run as smooth as they were. But he's like I said, his time is limited, man. He's just not the right guy for that team. Maybe somebody else, but for that organization, uh, they he's limited. He's limited, man, for sure. Yeah,
No, I agree. I think that was completely unwarranted.
yeah,
I mean, you should not be screaming at fans, especially after beating the Browns by like
yeah,
a touchdown.
and especially the Browns. Like,
Yeah, like come on. Like if it was the Ravens or heck any other team,
yeah,
I would have been like, you know what? All right, you've earned it a little bit. But the Browns, come on. Like
if they're sitting at like third to last, and you're yelling at their fans because they
no,
probably
he was yelling at his fans. He was yelling at Eagles fans. Like, come on.
yeah. That definitely ain't a good look at
No.
all. No, you can't yell at your fans,
I
brother.
don't. I saw somebody saying that he's going through his Britney face
Uh,
because he shaved his head and everything.
could be.
I
Could
mean,
be. Maybe he's going to do deeper things than anybody knows, but he's gotta take care of that off the field, not on the field,
hmm
because of course that relates to the players, the team, the other coaches, and it could possibly bring him down. So Eagles got to figure that out. Like I said, sooner than later.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, awesome.
All right. Enough with the NFL talk. Let's take it down to the NCAA. Did Oklahoma make a mistake by joining the SEC?
You know,
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. I don't see them winning too many games. I mean, yes, it's their first year, but going into the SEC, I don't care who you are, you gotta be prepared. You, SEC is tough, the toughest division there is
yep.
by far. Yes, UT was in the Big 12. SEC is tough. It's tough. I don't care if it's Vanderbilt. Shout out to y'all for beating Alabama. A&M is still here. But I mean, every team is good. Any team can have their night, but the SEC is tough, and I feel like Alabama ran the Big 12 for quite some time, and they feel like that would roll over, and it just has not. It has not happened.
Yeah. I don't think it was a mistake. I think they went about it completely the wrong way. Um, because my question was, and it happened. I asked this question after the Red River rivalry. Uh, my big question was, what did they do in recruiting that just magically changed between 2022 and 2023?
They joined the SEC.
But that shouldn't change. In
But
fact,
if I'm a recruit and you know I pick Oklahoma while they're in the Big 12, absolutely, because there's a chance at the Big 12 championship. There's a chance at a big bowl game because you're in the Big 12.
mhm.
If I'm a recruit and Alabama scouting me and we're in the SEC and I have other SEC schools scouting me, there's no way I'm picking Oklahoma. I feel like there's more powerhouses in the SEC that I feel like could win before I chose Oklahoma
but
in
that's
the SEC.
but okay. So with that in mind, think about it this way: when A&M came to the SEC in 2012, their recruiting didn't change. We were still a good recruiting class in Texas. In fact, we were taking players from Oklahoma, no California, and no from those top schools in those states. And then when we came to basically telling them, hey, we were making good bowl games in the Big 12. We told them, hey, you wanna play for the in Texas, but you also want to play in the SEC.
Right,
And the problem with Oklahoma, who's historically has always been the issue, is that a lot of their top players come to Texas.
right.
A&M, Texas, Baylor, all those schools. So that was their advantage of them telling these recruits, hey, you can stay home and be down the street from your mom and dad and still play in the SEC, and
But
because
see,
even if they make a bad bowl game, it's still the SEC.
but see what you said is like A&M took recruits from Oklahoma, California, right? Because a lot of them kids, a lot of them kids had A&M in their wheelhouse. A&M joined the SEC. It's like, all right, I really love A&M.
Mhm.
They're about to go play with the bigger schools, get more exposure, things like this. But now you got Oklahoma moving in, and a bunch of those kids who are already, at A&M, at Bama,
Mhm.
and they see Oklahoma coming in, or they're thinking about, A&M, Alabama, Texas. It's like we're a powerhouse already. Like, why would I go to Oklahoma? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's just like they're already here. They're already set. It's like I know what these schools have to offer. I know Oklahoma is fresh. I'm not about to go over there and waste my time. I want to go to a team that I know has a possibility of winning as soon as I get there.
Yeah.
So that me as a recruit, that's what I would choose.
Mhm.
Um, give Oklahoma a couple years. Maybe the recruiting to go back their way. But for right now, it's tough. I just think they should try recruiting a little bit better before hopping over.
And that's my question. Like, I understand why Texas is doing so well
Yeah.
here because Nick Sirianni, he was hired before they came to the Big 12, the SEC. No, he had what, 2 years with y'all before?
Sarkeesian.
I'm sorry, it's Sarkisian.
Uh, two or three, two or
Yeah,
three.
so 2 or 3 years. So he was able to instill his SEC mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they need because that's what happens with A&M.
Yeah.
No, we got a lot of recruit people from recruiting into A&M that were accustomed with the SEC before we went into the SEC, and then it helped us out. And I think that was one of the big problems. I think Oklahoma. I still think that Oklahoma would have struggled
Yeah.
in the SEC, but not as much as they are right now.
Also, Sarkisian did come from under a very, very, very good coach,
Well, yeah, I mean,
which makes a huge difference. It's
yes.
a huge difference. Yeah.
I mean, you really have to go back and look at his Sarkisian's history all the
Hmm.
way back to USC, how he was really screwing things up, and
Hmm.
Nick Saban saved him. So, you
And
know,
he learned from the best, and he just took that to Texas, and he's been running with it, which is great.
yeah,
Which is great.
no,
So,
so it's gonna be interesting. But I don't think it was a mistake. I think the learning curve is for sure is gonna be a lot steeper for Oklahoma
yeah,
than everybody else.
I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
awesome. Let's go into the next one. Uh, Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, Alabama. Are we worried about Alabama after that close win against South Carolina?
No, yeah, I honestly am. I honestly am.
They didn't play. They didn't play too great at all, man. Uh, like they did in previous games.
Yeah.
Previous games, they've been putting it together. Ryan Williams been showing out. Milroe's been showing out. Alabama's defense been showing out. But against South Carolina, man, they had troubles. They had
Hmm.
troubles the whole game, and they almost lost it. They
Yep. They
almost lost
almost
it.
lost it. If it
Uh,
wasn't for South Carolina being just screwing themselves in the
yeah,
I'm sorry, shooting themselves in the foot with flags,
yeah.
it would have been a much different.
They would have beat them.
They would have beat them.
They would have beat
They
them,
would have beat them.
and that would have put a big hurt on Bama.
Yeah, like
But
I'm trying to pull up the box scores because for some reason I didn't have them up beforehand. But when you're looking at this, everything that was happening, like I'm just sitting there like, what in the world happened? What is going on? Like Jalen Monroe did not look like Jalen Monroe.
nope.
We were just talking the last show how he had his Heisman moment
Yeah,
against Georgia, and then he goes and puts up this two shows,
yeah.
you know, 209 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions, 16 for 23. That was not the Monroe we saw against Georgia.
That wasn't him. That wasn't him. Maybe they played down to South Carolina's level, to avoid, maybe injuries or anything like that. But you shouldn't, as a powerhouse as Alabama is, you should not have made that game that close.
I mean, literally, it was pretty much close to the same thing.
Yeah,
374 total yards to 313, four turnovers to two turnovers, 23 first downs to 20 first down.
it
It,
was a close
that
game.
that's as close as a game as you can ask for.
Close game, man.
And I'm just like, if you look at the full like the penalties, six for 49 and seven for sorry, what 67.
It was almost. I mean, it was an even game. It was an even game. Who's the Alabama schedule
Uh,
coming up? Because I mean,
so Tennessee this week,
which should be a fight.
which should be a fight.
That's a toss up.
And Tennessee's coming out of just losing to Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So
So they're
then
pissed off.
Mizzou, yeah, so they should be pissed off. Then Missouri trying to prove that they deserve to be back.
Uh, ah,
Now, this is where it gets interesting, though. They get LSU. Now, LSU is going to have a really weird matchup here because the week before that, they're playing A&M.
oh, that 2 dubs in a row for LSU, man. That's crazy.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But let's just say they win against A&M, right? And then they got to play LSU. That could be LSU's path to the SEC championship
It
right there.
could. It could.
But if they lose to A&M, A&M's path is open, and LSU has to think, well, do I want a playoff spot now? And they know facing A&M. And then after that, their schedule gets freaking easy, which is Merle something, some little college,
Yeah.
then OU and then Auburn,
Yeah.
which is their Iron Bowl.
I think for. I mean, it's tough for Alabama. They got to win out. They got
They
to win out in a pretty way.
Yeah.
But it's tough. Tennessee, Oklahoma. It's going to be tough for them. I feel like Oklahoma put up a fight. They just didn't against Texas, which I mean it's Texas. What do you expect? But Tennessee, Oklahoma are going to be dog fights for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to figure out what they did wrong, what they can improve on, and improve on those if they want to have any shot at the title. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Perfect.
Hook 'em.
Mm-mm.
Is Texas a team to beat in the SEC? Yeah.
Let me tell you this much. Y'all are winning, yeah. Okay.
Dogs.
No, not gonna deny that.
Dogs.
Not gonna deny that. But you guys haven't been in the SEC. The SEC is funny. It's funny. We saw what happened against Alabama and Vanderbilt. Okay. We saw what happened against Tennessee and Arkansas. The balls are shaped in a funny way, my friend.
But it's Texas.
It don't matter.
It's Texas,
Don't
man.
matter. But I will give you this much. I'm looking at your schedule. Okay.
Cakewalk.
You went into the SEC, and this is what pisses me off about Texas.
Cakewalk.
Outside of Georgia, A&M.
Don't say Oklahoma because we.
No. Well,
Yeah.
before the season started, I would have added Oklahoma, but now I'm not. But let's just say this is before the season, right?
Mhm.
Georgia, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M were the hardest pieces of schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can add Michigan in there. But even then, I wasn't bottom Michigan because they lost
They lost a
almost
lot.
everybody and their head coach.
They lost. They lost.
They lost. So you know what?
Yeah.
I was like, I knew that wasn't going to be anything.
Yeah, they lost a lot. They lost
Yeah.
a lot.
So that's before the season. During the season, fine. You know what? Take out Oklahoma. They don't deserve to be there. But you still have Georgia in there, who can at any minute turn it on and tell you something. And A&M, who's now moving forward. Who's got who is the only team that's SEC undefeated.
A&M also hasn't played anybody this year.
We played
Who?
We played Notre Dame and Missouri, and we barely lost Notre Dame, and we smacked down Missouri.
Missouri. We both talked about Missouri not being. They shouldn't have been number 9. No,
They were still ranked. They
should have not been there.
Who the heck did you play outside of Michigan? Michigan, who had lost everybody.
Hey, look, man. I feel like anybody Texas plays, it's like another day of practice.
Really? Okay, so let's look at that Mississippi State game. Fine, you won 35-13.
Hey,
but how dominating was the Mississippi State defense?
not very. Put up 35 on them.
What, you're supposed to put up 50 apparently?
No.
No.
A 3 touchdown score game. Well, that's a win to me.
Oh, it don't matter if it's a win, but you may.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If Texas wins this weekend,
Yeah.
Are they the team to beat the SEC?
If they beat Georgia, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I will add this much: they don't have to beat them in a dramatic fashion.
They just got.
They just gotta beat them.
Okay.
Okay. But yes, if they beat Georgia, yes, they will. Now, do I believe that they're gonna beat Georgia? No, I think this is gonna be one of the hardest tests, and I feel like Georgia is better trained for this in this scenario. But to deny that it's not going to be a hard matchup, it's a lie.
It's going to be a fight.
It's going to be in Austin, but Georgia is used to going into places and winning.
Oh no.
I just don't see in Texas's schedule. I just don't see here. I can arguably say that they're
SEC championship game. You say?
With the way they set up their schedule, yeah. With the way they set up their schedule, yes, it is quite possible. Let me put you this way, and this is assuming that A&M wins out, which is quite plausible. Okay, So mind you, if one lost Texas A&M, but on SEC undefeated, and even if Texas loses one to Georgia,
But what about
Tex,
Bama with a one loss?
but look at the schedules though. Okay, even then, because we Texas plays Vanderbilt next,
So,
and if they smoke Vanderbilt, it don't matter if they lose to Georgia. No, we can get there. In fact, I'll give you even one better. And Joe Clyde, I sent this to you. Joe Clyde even said that if Texas A&M wins out, we don't need to beat Texas because we'll seat them in the SEC championship.
that'd be bad to get beat 2 weeks in a row.
Uh, we'll see.
That's bad.
We'll see.
That is
Hey, see,
bad.
there you go. There's. We'll see though. We'll see because the way I see it is, it would be interesting to play y'all.
Let's go, Texas.
We'll
Let's
see.
go, Texas.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But it is going to be an interesting matchup next. No, I'm sorry, this week. Um, yeah, I think this is going to be the deciding factor.
We got this. We got this.
Let's go on to the next one.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna keep the next two pretty together. Alrighty. So, is Iowa State the team to beat in the Big 12? Yes or no?
No. I still feel like the Big 12 is a toss up.
Between who?
You got K State. You got Iowa State. You really cannot count out Colorado. Like
Yeah.
you just can't. You just can't. Very very great game against K State. They just they pretty much beat themselves. So you can't count them out. Count them out. So those three teams, uh, I still feel like have a chance. It's just a matter of what they're going to do going forward.
Yeah,
So I don't think Iowa State is the team to beat. I feel like there's three teams to beat. But then again, the Big 12 is a toss up. So anything can happen in that conference for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, you gave me this next one, and that was should Ashton Jeffrey be at the top of the Heisman? And yeah,
The dude is good.
dude,
The dude, look, I understand. Like, people's going to talk about, oh, well, Boise State isn't playing these teams, or, the teams are playing is this and this and this. Have you seen this dude get the ball and run? Bro, like, he's a college athlete. Putting up numbers like that, I don't care who it's against, he's doing it.
yep,
He's doing it on the pace to beat Barry Sanders.
a Heisman Hall of
And
Famer.
we're not even halfway through the season, pretty much. This guy's gonna put up over 3,000 easily. Easy.
So I was actually looking at this the other day, and I'm trying to pull them back up. So let's go all the way down to the last Heisman running backs, right? Through the season. So let me go back to so first is Derrick Henry. How many yards you think he got?
Maybe a little over 2,000.
1,800 yards. Right now, Ashton Jeffrey has 1,200 yards.
And what, that's 5 games?
6 games.
Crazy.
All right, so that's him. Go back to Mark Ingram. Who do you think? How many innings he got?
18.
1,300 yards. So he's already there. One game.
But what's crazy is they won't give it to Jeanty. They will not give it to him just because of the team he's on and the competition level they play. That's the only reason he won't get it.
Yep.
But in my opinion, he should get it.
Right now, he's on pace to be. I'm gonna give you the if he continues this,
No, he will.
uh he's in charge to take Reggie Bush, where is he? Ron Dwayne, Ricky Williams, Eddie George, Rashad Salam, uh, Barry Sanders, of course, Bo Jackson, another Hall of Famer. Let's not forget that. Mike Rossi, Herschel Walker, Marcus Allen, George Rogers. He already beat out Billy Sims, Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett, Archie Griffin, John Capoletti, John Rogers, and of course you got to remember the Juice OJ Simpson.
Yes.
And you're telling me so all of these names I just listed out are Hall of Famers. They're all Hall of Famers in the NFL, and you're telling me that just because,
I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen just because of the competition and the team he's on, they won't give it to him.
which
He
is wrong,
deserves it.
it's wrong.
He deserves it.
And by the way, I don't
And I
know.
don't even think he's. I don't even think he's eligible for the draft.
Let me double
If I'm
check.
not mistaken,
No, he's a junior. He's a
as
junior.
junior,
He's a junior. And
I'd say come back.
did you see Travis Hunter's comments about him?
No, I didn't. What did he say?
He said, "Oh, he's a dude, but that they haven't seen anyone that's a two-way player." Okay, fine. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back here. 1961, halfback, linebacker, fullback, Ernie Davis, Johnny Rogers, wide receiver, running back. Let's see what else. Desmond Howard, wide receiver, punt returner. Eric Crouch, quarterback, wide receiver. Let's see, we can even go further. We can go further back. Let's go back to the beginning. Nicky, 1939, halfback quarterback. Les Norris, halfback quarterback.
I just feel like the two-way player comment is because nobody's done it in such a long time. You know what I mean? And I feel like Travis Hunter is great. The dude is good. Like the dude is good. I just feel like there needs to be more. There needs to be more.
And I'm sorry, but look at those numbers.
Yeah.
He's gonna surpass. I believe OJ has the most. If I'm checking, yeah, OJ I think has the most with 2,800 yards.
Yeah. He could if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he'll set. Like I said, I'm predicting 3,000 for that man by the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. If he has 3,000 yards by the end of the season and he does not get the Heisman, I'm done. I'm done with the
Yeah.
Heisman committee. I'm
Yeah,
done.
it's tough, man.
Especially they go out and give it to someone like Shador Sanders or Travis Hunter or Jalen Monroe
You know what it
when
is?
this man gets 3,000 yards.
You know what it is? Name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
That's what it's gonna come down to. It's gonna come down to.
And
Shout
it's
out,
wrong.
shout out, Jeanty. You keep doing your thing, my guy.
Yeah, no, he really should. And
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Uh,
All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so we went to NFL, then we went to NCAA. So let's take a really step back and talk about some baseball. Of course, the National League and American League championships are on. The LA Dodgers versus the New York Mets, and the New York Yankees versus the Cleveland Guardians. So first and foremost, congratulations to the Mets because at the beginning of the season, you guys were shit. Trash. You were in pace to set the worst record in MLB. You were in third place. That's how bad you were.
Yeah.
And now you're here. You know what? If that doesn't say Jesus lives, and he works miracles, I don't know what will. You know what? He don't need to walk on water. He just needs to get them to the World Series.
sir.
That you know what? If the Mets make it to the World Series, I'll go to church every Sunday moving forward. Because that's the only way the Mets could get somewhere.
Yeah.
But who do you have?
My two teams. I'm gonna have to go with the Yankees.
Mm,
I seen them play last night. They can bat.
mhm.
They can bat. They can bat. And then the Dodgers. Shout out Shohei Ohtani. Man, I don't know I don't know what you are. I don't know really who you are. But man, you can ball, brother. You can ball.
Yeah.
So when I take those two teams who I have winning,
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to the Dodgers, but I do see a 7-game series coming.
I agree. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you my two. So in reality, I agree with you 100%. I think it's gonna be the Dodgers and the Yankees. I think they're both deep in the bullpen. The pitching is doing great. The hitting is doing great. It's gonna be amazing. Plus, it's gonna be interesting to see how both teams deal with the cross country traveling.
Mm-hmm.
That's really gonna affect the winner.
Yeah,
So
for both of them.
yeah, for sure, it's going to be a 7-game series. Um, and one slip up could really screw things up
Yeah.
for each team.
Yeah.
What I want to happen, what I want to happen, is I want the New York Mets and the New York Yankees to play, because again, it sets up a really interesting thing. Because again, they both play
Who
in New
runs New
York.
York?
Yeah,
Who runs
yeah,
New
who's
York?
gonna run New York?
Yeah.
Uh, are the Yankees finally gonna get off the slump? I think that if it's anything else than that, if it's like Cleveland or against the Dodgers, or Cleveland and the Mets, it's not gonna be as good. It's still gonna be better than last year's, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, which that was a horrible series. Even though, hey, congrats to the Rangers for
Yeah.
winning it.
Texas. Proud.
Texas proud and everything, but that was boring as hell. I was boring as hell. But watching the New York Mets, it's like having a Rangers Astros World Series,
Yeah.
which obviously can never happen because they're in the same league and everything. But I would pay to see that. I would play. I would pay to see that.
That'll be a very high viewed series.
Exactly.
Just because.
That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the same thing. If Texas and Texas A&M go to this championship, you and I are both going. We're flying to Atlanta, and we're gonna go watch this, and we're gonna wear like full on cowboy boots, like the typical, Texas wardrobe.
Look, I'm going with the overalls.
Yeah.
Overalls.
There you go.
I'd give me a cowboy hat for that game, and I'm gonna get my boots. Steve Sarkisian, if you see this, some nice tickets would be nice too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mm.
But no, I'd go to that game, very Texas pride, and it'll be one. It'll be one to watch.
So
Absolutely.
it's the same thing. If I honestly, if the Mets and the Yankees make it to the World Series, number one, I love both teams. They both have, again, the bullpens are being great. The pitching for the Mets is a little iffy, so I'm not 100% sold on it. But they're still great. The pitching is doing great. The defense is playing great. I think everything is great about the Mets. I don't know what the hell they did, but they need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if we can get the Mets and the Yankees, we're gonna try to go to the New York and watch one of these World Series. And you know what? I don't know. We'll dress up somehow. We'll dress up. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. But
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. All righty. Let's go to the last two. All right. So, as always, our college top 25 and our NFL power rankings. Um, Honestly, outside of
Ohio State, Penn State.
an Alabama LSU,
Yeah.
we're pretty.
Pretty
And in all honesty, there's an argument for all those.
Yeah.
There's an argument.
Oh, Penn State. Penn State is good.
Yeah.
Penn State is good, but Ohio State is balling.
Yes.
Ohio State is balling. That's why they're the jump above Penn State. Then when we get down to Alabama, LSU, Alabama got to show me more.
Yeah.
Alabama got to show me more. Even though it took LSU, towards the end of the game to win, right now they're playing good ball.
Mhm.
They're playing good ball. But Alabama got to show me something.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I put Penn State over Ohio State is because Penn State is undefeated right now.
Yeah.
So even the committee was going to agree to put them over them. But I do like the way they played Oregon. Oregon arguably deserves the number 2 spot.
Absolutely.
They played great. The
Yeah.
question is, are they going to keep that number 2 spot? That's where That's where the issue always arises then. But I mean, other than that, I think Miami's still doing great, even though they could fall at any minute.
Yeah.
Alabama, again, I agree with you. I had to switch them just because LSU did have to. I think if Ole Miss had not gotten so tired towards the end,
Yeah.
it would have been different.
Yeah.
It would have been different. But yeah, that is our rankings. Of course, go to our social media to see all 25. And I will add this though: you kept Michigan at 24. I completely threw them out, and I put Washington State.
Hey, shout out me though. I put Texas A&M at 13, while Hershey has them at 14.
Hey, you gotta give credit to everyone above them. BYU is still playing 100 times better. I love my Aggies. Hey, I bled I bled on that field more times than I care to admit. And you know what? I gotta be honest with myself. I gotta be honest.
I got you.
All right, and now into the NFL power rankings. Uh, Again, we were pretty much agreeing on all these. As I was doing them, of course, I do agree. Ravens at 5, Falcons at 7.
Uh,
Just again, as we,
those three. I'd say those three were T5,
yeah,
top 5.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just had to
yeah.
put them in order. Just had to put them in order.
The other one too that I didn't agree with you was Bucks, Packers, Bills. You had Bills, Steelers, Bucks. I don't trust the Steelers that high. I mean, I
Not
think
yet.
not yet. No,
Not yet.
I mean they lost to the Cowboys.
I mean,
The same Cowboys that lost by like 40 points the next week.
I told you everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one, so they get like 7. Then got it. Um, I think the Bills are still questionable. You know, they're. I don't think they're still top 10 team, but not that high. So I mean, and of course, I don't think you give enough credit to the Packers. I think Jordan Love is playing great. So now that he's back from injury, defense is kind of meshing, and
Yeah.
I think their big problem is trying to figure out how they're using Josh Jacobs.
Agreed. 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 I mean, the Packers aren't bad.
No,
They
no.
put on the show this past Sunday. They're not bad. They're not bad.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Uh,
pick them to win the Super Bowl, but I think they can win at least one playoff game.
room for improvement, of course. So that's why I stuck them, right there at 11. They knocking on the door. In my book, they're knocking on the door.
And of course, as always, you can see the full lineup on our social media. But I will add this: how in the world you must be looking at the stats and everything? How in the world did Browns not your 32nd team? How are you? How are the Jags worse than the Browns?
look, look, I look, look, man. Those final four, those final four.
By the way, Final Four is Browns, Patriots, Panthers, Jags for him. Mine are Patriots, Panthers, Jags, Browns. Just so everyone knows.
My final four, I get this. Any, meaning. I mean, they suck. All four of those teams suck.
Yeah, but
So if there was more teams, we could slide some of these out. I would have done it, but there's only 32, and we had to pick 32. So those four just got spots at the bottom.
man, you know what? Honestly, I'm that's disrespect to the Jaguars. That is disrespect to the Jaguars in so many different ways, man. Like, come on, come on. I mean, alone the contract alone for the Sean Watson makes him the
the
last
two
place.
final teams of the NFL should play to see who gets the first round pick.
Like, yeah, yeah, I would love that. I would like instead of the Pro Bowl,
Yeah,
they just have that game.
just have that game because the Pro Bowl
Yeah, the Pro Bowl sucks.
sucks. Just have the two worst teams play and call it that. Yeah. Yeah.
Or the Pro Bowl players play, and they pick each side of the teams, and then each coaching staff does it. Oh, NFL, come on! You want some entertainment right there? Then you really see some hits. Yeah.
So I mean, if the Browns get last, we know they're not going to take a quarterback.
Honestly, there's no good quarterbacks coming out next year, so no.
I don't know, man. Carson Beck. Carson Beck's pretty nice.
I don't want to put
He's
him.
pretty nice, man.
But please, they're probably gonna take Shador Sanders again, and then Shador's gonna be like, "No, I'm not gonna go play for you because my daddy told me no." And
Eli stood out. Eli said he wasn't going, so he didn't go. So we'll see what happens.
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
But all right, let's last thing. All right, but that is all the time that we have left. Those we talked about a lot of things. I think it was a good show.
It was good.
It's
It was
gonna be
good.
interesting.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely looking forward to Saturday. 6:30. Tune in. Texas versus Georgia. On our social media, put who you think will win. Predict the score. Let's go from there. Let's get a little excitement, a little chat, a little talk into it. Let's just get you guys engaged with us. That way we can bring you guys more and more and more every week.
Amen. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And then, of course, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Guardians. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. A lot of it's going to go in the world, and we're just gonna. It's going to be interesting football week. I actually got a bye week for the Cowboys, so
They need it.
they
They
need
need
it.
it.
So yeah, but that is all the time that we have for you guys today. As always, guys, Please subscribe, rate, leave a review. Like Devin said, the more you interact, the more we can bring you guys. As always, guys, I'm Hershey,
I'm Devin.
and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.